welcome to episode 1 of Focal Point, bringing business and success into focus. My name is John Cutler, and I'm a certified Focal Point business coach and franchisee owner of Focal Point Business Coaching Alberta. Every week, I'll be sharing with you the world-class business material that Focal Point coaches around the world share with their clients. The material is based on the research and findings of Brian Tracy. These are time-tested and proven strategies that, when applied to your business, result in incredible improvements in your time, your team, your profitability, and your exit strategy. I'll also be interviewing a different business owner each week. And with the help of an expert panel of fellow Focal Point coaching colleagues, we'll assist my guest in working through a current issue that they're experiencing within their business. It'll be a great way for you to see a little bit about what business coaching is all about. As a business coaching system, Focal Point consists of 5 modules, and the first module we'll be discussing over the next few months will be gaining power through clarity. You can't create a map to where you want to go unless you know exactly where you're at right now. And it all starts with an understanding of the person you see. It all starts with understanding the person that you see when you look in the mirror. Sorry about that. Live TV, what do? Okay, so let's get into it. Know thyself. Behavioral research suggests that people are most effective when they understand themselves, both their strengths and their weaknesses. Such self-awareness enables them to develop strategies to meet the demand of their environment. A person's behavior is a necessary and integral part of who they are. Some of our behavior comes from nature, and some comes from nurture, which is simply how we're raised. Observable human behavior is the universal language of how we act. Within Focal Point, we use a behavioral assessment as the instrument, and that instrument is widely known as DISC. We've found that when our clients use this assessment tool, they learn how they respond to problems and challenges. They learn how they influence others to their point of view. They also learn how they respond to the pace of their environment and how they respond to rules and procedures set by others. They also gain critical insights on the attitudes that motivate them most strongly. Other valuable information provided in the report are the do's and don'ts of communicating. Now, I've put together a quick little slideshow on DISC, so I'll ask Evan, our producer, to just cue that up behind me, and we'll go through what DISC is all about. So grab a pen and a paper if you can, because it's going to be packed full of valuable information that you're going to be able to apply in your business and life right away. So we have the DISC overview. Awesome. Okay, I'm using my clicker. There we go. Okay, so what is DISC? This tool can quickly provide you with insights into your communication style, strengths, weaknesses, and assess key areas of your life. It helps to improve productivity. Now, DISC is an internationally accepted tool. It measures how we act. It also identifies communication style, highlights your strengths and weaknesses, as I've mentioned before. It focuses on observable behavior and emotions. And based on your communication style, it provides insights on how to interact with others who have different styles. This is really important. The result is better rapport, and it's faster rapport, gives you stronger relationships and a higher level of trust and comfort. Remember, 85% of a person's success in life is determined by how well they communicate with others. And we'll forward to the next. Okay, continuing on, the benefits of learning DISC. It allows you to gain commitment and cooperation from the people around you. It helps you to build effective teams that you're surrounded by. It helps you resolve and prevent conflict, and also gaining endorsement. So if you're trying to change something within your business, knowing how to communicate with those people within your business, it's a critical talent that you need to have. And it's also an excellent tool in supporting the recruitment process. Behaviors can be matched to the corporate culture. Now, this is key because hiring managers are actually provided a roadmap on how to maximize the productivity of the person that they're bringing in to their organization. It also limits the risk of making a hiring mistake. The DISC components, and the DISC simply stands, the D stands for how you approach and respond to problems. The I indicates how you interact with others and attempt to influence them. And the S identifies how you respond to change and variation. And the C is how you respond to rules and procedures. The profile will normally highlight a core behavior, but it must be analyzed using all four categories. The two types of analysis are included in the DISC reports, and they are your natural style, which describes the natural behavior patterns, and also your adapted style, which describes how your behavior is adapted in the work environment. And this is key because if the behavior is adapted too much, according to this assessment, the person could be in the wrong job. So that's really something to look for if you're to provide a DISC assessment for the people that are working in your company. We'll flash to the next screen, hopefully. Oh, right. Okay, sorry everybody. Now, on those categories, the D, the I, the S, and the C, if we start on the left-hand column under dominance, these people are in increasing variation, going up from the midline, which is right in the middle of that graph. They're responsible, they're inquisitive, venturesome, decisive, competitive, aggressive, determined, forceful, strong-willed, pioneering, ambitious, driving. As an indicator of that type of behavioral style, I'd like you to just think about the driver, and we've all heard of how a driver acts. The second one over, a person who demonstrates more of the influencing type of behavior. They're sociable, they're trusting, optimistic, poised, polished, convincing, warm, persuasive, demonstrative, enthusiastic, political. These are the influencers. Many salespeople have this type of personality. The steadiness we'll just call the relator. And these are very emotional people. They're stable, they're steady, they're deliberate, consistent, predictable, sometimes possessive, they're patient and passive. Under compliance, these are the analyzers, and quite often in the material that we've seen, a lot of engineers or accountants are under the compliance. So they are balanced, they have balanced judgment, they're open-minded, they're tactful, accurate, diplomatic, and systematic. To our next screen. There it is. Okay, now here's a ton of value in a very short amount of time. These are the keys to communicating with other behavioral styles. In the top right-hand box, when communicating with a person who is ambitious, forceful, decisive, strong-willed, independent, and goal-oriented, this is the driver. When you're communicating with that person, be clear, specific, brief, and to the point. You stick to business. Be prepared with support materials and a well-organized package. Now, just as important as how you should communicate with the person, here's what not to do. Factors that will create tension or dissatisfaction is talking about things that are not relevant to the issue, leaving loopholes or cloudy issues, appearing disorganized. This drives the driver crazy. Right below that box, when communicating with a person who is magnetic, enthusiastic, friendly, demonstrative, and political, this is the influencer. The way you communicate with an influencer is you provide a warm and friendly environment. Don't deal with a lot of details. Put them in writing. Ask feeling questions to draw their opinions or comments. Now, how not to communicate with an influencer? Factors that will create tension or dissatisfaction is being curt, cold, or tight-lipped, controlling the conversation, driving on facts and figures, alternatives, abstractions. The influencer just wants to be social, so you have to treat them with that respect. Immediately to the left of the influencer box is the relator, or the S. When communicating with a person who's patient, predictable, reliable, steady, relaxed, and modest, begin with a personal comment, break the ice. Present your case softly, non-threateningly. Ask how questions to draw their opinions. Now remember, this is all about building rapport, and the quicker you can build rapport, the quicker you can start to build trust. So it's really important that you're communicating with these people in a way that is motivating to them. What causes dissatisfaction for a relator is rushing headlong into business, being domineering or demanding, forcing them to respond quickly to your objectives. And then the last box right above the relator. When communicating with a person who is dependent, neat, conservative, a perfectionist, careful, and compliant, these are the analyzers. Prepare your case in advance. Stick to business. Be accurate and realistic. Factors that will create tension or dissatisfaction. We've got things falling down on set here, guys. Sorry. But it's really exciting. What will cause dissatisfaction? Being giddy, casual, informal, loud, pushing too hard, or being unrealistic with deadlines, being disorganized or messy. And I'm going to the next screen, and there it is. Okay, action items, where the success begins. Every client coaching relationship is based on action items, and that's how a client, when they have a coach, they're able to get to where they want to go faster, because there's always action items present. So when you're able to gain crystal clarity on yourself, you'll become aware of the opportunities to make small incremental improvements. And that's what growth is all about, making small incremental improvements, setting realistic goals. And a few sessions down the road, we'll be talking about goals in depth and how to properly do them. Here's a great question you'll be able to ask yourself as you analyze your DISC profile. If communicated more clearly or practiced more diligently, which elements would have the greatest impact on each of the three areas of focus? So you ask yourself, how is it going to impact me personally if I was to improve? How is it going to affect my business? How would it affect my team? Those are very key questions that when you get this DISC assessment, should you choose to do that, those are the questions you ask yourself. And then think about what would a 2, 3, or 4% improvement over the next year in each area the report identifies mean to your bottom line. How is that going to impact your life? I'll let you know how to get your own DISC assessment near the end of the program, so stay tuned for that. Okay, as we move on, I'd like to welcome in studio and remind you that you're watching Focal Point, bringing business and success into focus. What we're going to do is we're going to introduce Erin Armstrong. And Erin and I have been working together for 18 months. And it's been honestly a privilege to work with her. She's the owner of Best Foot Forward Massage Therapy and Reflexology, and is also the creator of The Joyful Evolution, which is Erin's new venture. And we'll be talking and learning more about that today. Erin has been a coaching client, like I've said, for 18 months, and I'm very proud to have her as a client and to really watch her evolve as an entrepreneur and a business owner. And I'm very proud of her, so I don't mean to get all teary, but that's what it's all about, right? Okay, so I'd also like to introduce our Skype guest panelists from Focal Point. These are fellow colleagues of mine. Hugh Tafel is on the line with us, and Hugh is a Focal Point certified business coach and online social media marketing consultant. And he's based out of the mountain resort community of Canmore, Alberta. He works with business owners and professionals on how to best use the powerful new online and mobile marketing tools and platforms so they get more leads, customers, and profits. Hugh offers a free white paper on how businesses are using the new internet marketing platforms to acquire customers. And that, of course, can be found at tafelmarketing.com.
How do you do, John?
So welcome. Welcome also to Gusty Yaskowich. Coach Gusty is an energetic, world-class, Focal Point certified business coach and inspirational speaker. He's a graduate of the University of Saskatchewan and Richard Ivey School of Business. His results-based approach to marketing, selling, and business development is built on over 30 years of proven corporate and entrepreneurial experience, being responsible for everything from patents to processes, from pricing to positioning, and from people to profit. So thanks, Gusty. Rounding out the panel of Focal Point business coaches is Focal
Good morning, Erin, and good morning, John.
Phil Gilkes. Phil's diverse entrepreneurial background, extended over 35 years, has afforded him a great many experiences with manufacturing, printing and graphics, real estate, and the facilitation of personal development training to sales professionals, business owners, entrepreneurs, and individuals just looking to make small or even major changes in their lives. So welcome. So Erin, before we discuss joyful evolution, I just wanted to get a little bit of your feedback on the DISC assessment, which I was talking about a little bit earlier. You've been able to use DISC within your business. You used it for yourself, and then you were able to apply it to your staff, and then even use it in the acquiring of new personnel. So is what I'm talking about here valuable?
Absolutely. I found significant value just because the different personality types are definitely more appropriately approached by knowing what things to do with them, what things not to do with them, how the impact of our communication style will affect their work and their productivity. So I found huge benefit from knowing what type of personalities I had hired, and also it detracted me from hiring some people knowing that it just wasn't the right fit and it wasn't the right place for them to be on our team.
Right, and I totally agree. We actually came up with a game plan as we analyzed her staff at the time, and brought about the really good ideas on how to best equip them. And also, it's a great learning tool and training tool for the staff, because now, especially if they're working with customers, it's a great way for them to start to identify the different personality types and behavioral styles. And given your business, it's very interactive with people, massage therapy, and obviously your business has grown.
Very much, yeah.
So, and this was really the starting point for our whole coaching process. Okay, so let's go and talk about joyful evolution, and something that's incredibly exciting. Tell us a little bit about what the joyful evolution is and where it came from.
Well, the joyful evolution is about creating quality experiences worth repeating. Our view is that we're all in the same business, independent of industry, and everybody wants to have good experiences, not just the customer, not just the worker, and not just the company or the brand. So where it came from was my struggle independently and in business to consistently provide quality services and quality experiences. So that's really where it came from, was that desire to provide quality every single session.
Great. It makes a lot of sense to me, and you and I have spoken about this a lot, but why was it not done sooner?
I think it probably has been done sooner on a smaller level, maybe independent owners or independent locations. However, my view or our view is that it's something that's appropriate for everyone, and it's appropriate for all industry. Our industry specifically of holistic health or massage therapy and reflexology could definitely benefit from it as it evolves the industry into a more creation and cooperative profession, as opposed to the competition that it seems to be thus far.
Yeah, it's a great idea, and it is web-based.
It is.
And so people can go online, and basically what you've done is you've provided a template for them on how to effectively run their massage therapy business.
Right. So providing the consistency of service, providing the tools to consciously create that experience, again, not only for the guest, for the worker as well.
Yeah. And what are you trying to change, within the industry?
Well, I really like who I work on, and I like who I work with, and I like where I work. And I think that's a really common theme for all people, that if we're going to spend 8 hours or more a day somewhere with people, we want to enjoy what we're doing, and we want to consciously create that experience to be a positive thing. It's really easy to just show up and let things happen by default, but it definitely takes somebody, an effort to consciously say, this is what I want this day to look like, this is what this segment of time should evoke feelings of me,
Right.
invoke in me feelings of, happiness or joy or contentment, or even if it's simply the feeling of a job well done because you know that you did the best that you could with the tools available.
Right. So how do you convince the people within your industry that this is the way to go?
I think that's my challenge is...
All right. Critical constraint. Okay. And what a constraint is simply, should you remove your constraint between where you are now and your goal, you'll get there faster. And this is where I'm going to ask the panel to weigh in. So Erin's constraint is, how does she start to make the change within their industry? How does she do it? And Hugh, I'll ask you to weigh in first.
All right. Can you hear me all right?
Absolutely.
I can hear you fine, and I can actually see you. That's fantastic.
Oh, really? You mean I'm not just the skier photo?
Oh, that's Phil. Sorry. No wonder you look so good. Just kidding.
Yeah, to the audience, we had some interesting technical glitches this morning. But
yes,
Erin, can I ask you a couple of preliminary questions?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. The first question, I mean, I did check your website earlier, and what I am trying to determine is who exactly is, like, who are you trying to serve with that new venture?
The primary target that we're starting with is the massage therapy and reflexology industry, because that's kind of my forte, or that's my background for the last 9 years. That's the industry I've worked in. And that's what I started the Joyful Evolution with the intent of changing or positively impacting. However, as Joyful Evolution has evolved, kind of amusing, we see that all of us are independently of the business. We're all in the same industry. We all want to provide those quality experiences. So we do see that it could overlap into any industry, and that we could create a joyful evolution for any business or profession. However, the starting point is the reflexology and massage therapy, because that's where kind of I come from.
Okay, and that's where your experience is currently. So what's your overall goal for that launch? I mean, what are you trying to accomplish, like 5 years from now?
Well, 5 years from now, I would really like to see the community of holistic health be more cooperative and have more of a sense of community, because right now, as I mentioned earlier, it is very competitive. Kind of every location or every individual practitioner for themselves, and the feeling is that there's not enough work for everyone. Well, there is enough work for everyone. There's enough stress in the world that every single massage therapist and reflexologist could be as busy as they want to and still have a waiting list. That's the reality of our society right now, is stress is prevalent. So there's no reason for that competition, in my view. And I think that the industry, to be sustainable and to provide these quality services and provide the education and awareness to the public, is essential for us to be joined together and for us to have a common view of what we want our industry to do. Okay,
so you're trying to set up then a membership of what? Of collaboration, or what are members? What do you think members are trying to get out of it? Why would they join?
My feeling that they would join is because of the tools that I've provided and the experiential insight that I've had over the last 9 years is essential. You know, there's a lot of things that I've done that are wrong that a lot of people can benefit from. There's a lot of things that I've done right that people can look at and hopefully be inspired to do things in their own way. I'm not saying my way is the only way. I'm not saying my way is the best way. I'm saying, have you thought about this? Are these questions that you've asked yourself in your business or in your industry, and is it important to you? Does it matter, and have you ever thought about it?
Okay. Great. So if I could make a couple of comments, and then I shouldn't have too.
And then we'll go to Phil.
Here.
Yep. Or Gusty, sorry.
So I'll make one comment, and it's this. In my experience, I mean, it's good that you have this vision of more than just massage therapy. You've got the whole holistic health industry in mind. What I found, if I can make a suggestion, when I went to your site, is that wasn't clear to me of who you were talking to. And I have determined that the more you can make your the verbiage or the headlines or the focus of the site, so it's very clear who you are targeting, is certainly initially, then they will know when they come there that it's for them. Okay. If you go too broad, you'll have a tendency to lose people. They're not quite sure whether it's for them or not. That's my first general comment on that, if that's more of a tactical thing. And so if you were to focus just on the massage therapy, sort of in related business, yoga perhaps, initially, you may find that you have more success to get going.
Okay, thank you.
Great insight, Hugh. Thanks. Gusty, do you want to weigh in on that?
Oh, thanks, John, and good morning, Erin. And I looked at your website. I was really impressed with the information that you have.
Thank you.
I'm presently coaching a owner of a massage a therapist association. He has over 15 massage therapists, has brought in an acupuncturist, and is looking for a doctor of naturopathy. So I have some experience in this regard, and I just had a couple of questions for you. First of all, what the challenge that you have is also some of the challenges that we have as coaches when we talk to business owners. And one of the things that I wanted to explore with you is being able to, first of all, and it goes a little bit to what Hugh says, being able to engage with your customer. When I take a look at your website and what you offer, I'm wondering, once we target our right to customer, if the information, first of all, would be too overwhelming.
It's possible. It's a large site. There is a lot of information on there. Thus far, I have been walking people through it on the sections that they find relevant or the part that interests them at this time. And it is a lot to take on. There's definitely a huge amount of content on there.
I think your site is well based on logic.
Yes.
You know, there was a professor at the University of Virginia named John Haidt, and Chet and Dan Heath wrote a book that took Professor Haidt's information. It's called Switch, and it's about change management. And they say, you know, if you take a look at the brain and you take a look at an elephant and a rider, the rider, the small human being, is the logic, and the elephant, the 5-ton elephant, is the emotion. And we know that people buy on emotion and justify it with logic. So where I'm going with this, I'm wondering if we can appeal a little more to the emotion side and get people engaged to start to discuss with them the benefits and what it really means to their business. And the second thing, when we take a look at our customers, is it the owner or is it the massage therapist? Because the massage company that I work with pays their massage therapist a high percentage of the take. So I think there's sort of a two-step process in trying to appeal both to the owner and to the therapist. But anyway, deal a little bit more in benefits, I would suggest, and talk a little bit more with testimonials and numbers. And ask the question, what would it mean to your business if we had 90% retained customers?
Absolutely. Great point, Gusty. And just to add to that, the whole concept of joyful evolution is about raising the quality standard. And so Gusty was bang on. This is about, it's about not only the owners of clinics, but the massage therapists. And if they are to buy into this type of thinking, their quality of service is going to skyrocket, and it will start to change the industry. Mm-hmm. So I think those are great insights.
John, if I make one more comment, Erin, one thing you may, as I talk to massage owners, one of the challenges they have is to actually get their therapists to ask their customers to rebook. I mean, yes. There you have the patient on the table feeling fantastic. What a great time to ask for the order. And somehow I made a presentation to this group and I got them to realize that, you know, we all are salespeople. And really, when you ask for the order, it makes the customer feel good. So if you start off with a byline like that, it may get the owners more interested in parts of your site.
The reason we're smiling, Gusty, is because we've had this conversation many times, and thank you for bringing that up. But one of the reasons I'm so proud of Erin now as an entrepreneur is it was really tough to change her mindset when we first started working together, because you know she wasn't necessarily in it for the money, and she's still not in it for the money, but she is thinking like an entrepreneur, and certainly that customer satisfaction, the customer service is paramount. The money will come. Right. And
the other question will be, if I'm a customer and you don't ask me to rebook, if you're not confident enough to ask me, maybe I shouldn't rebook myself.
Absolutely.
So you're doing me a favor.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Thanks, Gusty. Phil Gilkes.
Good morning. I'm happy to be part of this call. Listening to the other two coaches, there's not a lot I can add to this that's different, but I might just say it in a slightly different way. One of the things I've found is that if you know what you want and why you want it, it's a little bit easier to attract it. So if you go back to what he was talking about, clarity and being specific, I think that might be one of the things to look for as you're moving forward with this great idea that you've got. I'm curious, What's the biggest resistance that you're feeling, seeing, or having as a result of this?
The idea that improvement is something that is continuous. You know, a lot of the resistance that I've reached is people saying, well, I already went to school. You know, they already taught me that. Or, you know, I don't feel comfortable asking people to rebook. You know, those are business skills and entrepreneurial skills that are essential in any industry, as it was previously mentioned. And in the massage industry, there's a lot of resistance to being salesy or being pushy or, you know, asking people to rebook and take their money because it's viewed as a healthcare industry as opposed to a business. So there is some resistance with that because we don't want to feel as an industry like we're charging people too much or that we're taking advantage of sick and injured or pained people. And we're not taking advantage. We're providing an essential, you know, absolutely wonderful service that right now monetary exchange is how it's, you know, how it's paid for. So that's most of the resistance that I see is just inability to have that confidence to say I'm worth charging $100 an hour or whatever the case may be.
So if what I heard you say is that there's a dogma or a stigma around the sales verbiage, language, labeling, is that true?
Yeah, and even just the attitude of, you know, getting people to come back on a consistent basis. You know, it's really easy for someone that has pain or has an affliction that's obvious, physically obvious, to say, yes, you need to come in every month or you need to come in X amount of times. For somebody that's quote-unquote healthy, that's in good health, there's a lot less value or a lot less focus spent on retaining those clients and maintaining that health, maintaining that level of activity and lifestyle. You know, instead of waiting until it's something that needs to be fixed, working with the good, you know, healthy individuals that are around that just have stress that needs to be dealt with on a, you know, monthly or tri-monthly basis.
So I think what I heard is that you're trying to change the culture of the community to be proactive as opposed to reactive. When reactiveness is probably too late, and if we were proactive in helping people, then they wouldn't have such difficulties as their life progresses. Would that be right?
Yeah, definitely that's part of it. I don't believe that anyone's past that it's ever too late personally. Our bodies are amazing machines and are capable of absolutely anything. I've seen miracles happen every day. However, it's, you know, a pound of cure or an ounce of prevention, and awareness, education, and information for the public and also for the practitioner, I think, is what's going to create the systemic change in our culture of preventative medicine and preventative attitudes instead of reactive.
Yeah, that's where I was going with my comment, and I appreciate your feedback. What comes to mind for me is this radio station that we all tune into. What's in it for me? I'm sure John's walked you through that over the last 18 months.
Absolutely.
And how would you get your practitioners and patients, clients, to engage in that same sort of way? You might want to look at what John's helped you with in the past and think about what radio station everybody's tuning into and communicate to them in that way, which is the clarity part that Hugh was talking about. The other thing that comes to mind, too, is this, in my viewpoint, sales, if the attitude changes, is really all about helping people. And I think in your profession, that's what you do as practitioners, is help people. Isn't that right?
I believe so.
So if you were to change the mindset of the people that you're getting the resistance from to be not salesy, but to be helpful.
Absolutely.
Practitioners. And there's a word that comes to mind, and I know they use it a lot in the sales world, but it happens with kids, it happens with athletes. The NHL is going on right now, and the playoffs are going on, and some people are enthusiastic and some aren't. And the ones that have the most enthusiasm seem to be able to get through the constraints and restrictions that the other ones are failing to get through. So as a practitioner, in your world, what comes to mind to me is if you take enthusiasm and take the last four letters, I think that's IASM. There's going to be a word in there that might cause some resistance. It's sold, but it means I am sold myself. But if you're, what comes to mind to me is that if you can get people and tune into their WIFM radio station and have them come from a mindset of being helpful as opposed to the selling, that might be a strategy you might want to try.
Thank you.
Right. Thanks for that, Phil. And just to let everybody know, the joyful evolution, if massage therapists are to get involved and subscribe to that philosophy, there will be a lot of training that Erin is responsible for, and they will get the training, the same training that her staff are receiving directly from Erin. This is starting to be very well proven within her own business, as she's gone from 3 staff members now up to 9, just over the last 18 months, and really it's only been over the last probably 12, right? So we know that it works, and it's just a matter of getting in front of more people, utilizing some of the comments that all of our coaches here today have put forth. And so I thank you guys. This was our first show, many more to come, and thanks to the panel for being here. So with that, thanks, Erin. And I've actually put together this. We talked about the... I'll just grab it here. We talked about how knowing yourself is very important, and we use the DISC tool to do that. This is a financial analysis of your industry, so the massage therapy industry, and it's a financial industry report. What this shows you is a real quick snapshot of where the industry is as a whole, and part of that report is also some tips and recommendations on how to improve in terms of liquidity, sales, and profitability. And so that's a free parting gift.
Thank you.
And I know we'll be discussing it in depth at a later time, which is a great segue into what we're going to be providing here. And it is time for action. Evan, could I get you to put up that? Thank you. Geez, you're a genius. Fantastic. Okay, so there are rewards for watching this program, just for viewing. And so here's what I'm looking at and what the rest of the coaches are looking at. What we talked about today was the DISC assessment. Regularly, we sell that for $197. So today, $97, just for viewing the program. Financial report on your industry. And basically, if you have an NAICS code as part of your industry, I can get you a financial report that is going to provide you with a quick snapshot of where the industry is. You'll be able to use that as a benchmark. You'll be able to see how you're progressing. It's an incredibly valuable tool. And a lot of the focal point coaches actually use that tool very early on in their coaching client relationships to identify those opportunities that are going to provide a really quick return on investment. So I highly recommend that. Normally we sell that for $497. Your price today, $247. Also, I've been speaking with Gusty, with Hugh, with Phil, myself. We've all agreed that anybody watching today who wants to take advantage of a free 30-minute, no obligation entrepreneurial call with the coach of your choice, so either myself, Hugh, Gusty, Phil, we're available to you. Okay, and I'll be providing. Actually, what you can do is just contact me at jcutler at FocalPointCoaching.com. Do we have a link there, Evan, that we could put on the chat? Or okay, sorry, I sprung that on you. My apologies. So that's just a direct email. Tell me who you'd like to talk to, and we'll set that up for a one-time free entrepreneurial call. It'll be the best value you've ever experienced in your life. Or what we can also look at is the Platinum package. And what we've done is we've bundled this up. You receive the DISC assessment, financial report on your industry for just a great price, $197. And that's a $694 value for only $197. So why wouldn't you do that today? Click on the link, and it'll take you directly to the site. There'll be a brief explanation of exactly what I've been talking about right here. Also, something that I'd like to point out, if you are interested in learning more about the international franchise opportunities available at Focal Point, just contact me and I'll make sure you get in touch with the right people, okay? We're making things happen at Focal Point, and now it's your turn to make things happen in your world too. Okay. So we'll just continue on. We'll wrap up the show. We've provided a lot of value here today, and really it is just the beginning. This week we discussed the focal point session, Know Thyself, and how learning the DISC styles of communicating will have a critical impact on your business, on your team, and on you personally. So I'd like to thank my guest, Erin. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Creator of The Joyful Evolution, for sharing with us today. And you were our guinea pig. Hugh Tafel, Gusty Yaskowich, Phil Gilkes, our expert panel of coaches. What a great way to kick off this program. I just think you did a great job. So thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you all for being here. And also, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be here week after week. Next week, I'm going to be identifying the importance of identifying your key result areas within your company and your key performance indicators. And here's just a little clue. This financial report that I presented to Erin, there's a lot of material in there that you could utilize for your key result areas. And so it'll really be the start of your own dashboard. So I would highly recommend coming in next week at, are we going to say 10 o'clock next week? Mountain Standard Time?
No raccoons.
No raccoons next week. And so we'll see you next week on Focal Point, bringing business and success into focus. I'm John Cutler, and on behalf of, once again, the coaches, on behalf of Erin, thanks for tuning in today, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time.